Okay, so in this problem, so this is also from your homework, the mistake actually was in the backwards direction. Um, and so let me again write down what the assumptions are and then kind of go from there. So we have A is any real number, K is positive, then it's real, and we want to assume, suppose A is less than negative K. And actually this mistake is not, it's not really a mistake, it's just not as elegant, I think it's what I would say. Um, it's almost like you're not using the givens enough. They were there for a reason. So most of you started with this and then said, okay, there's two cases again. And what most of you said was something like, the two cases are what if A is positive and what if A is negative. Some of you wrote something like, suppose the absolute value of A is A. I'm not a big fan of this. I think it's better to say that A is positive or non-negative, I guess would be more appropriate. And some of you wrote here, suppose that the absolute value of A is the opposite. Again, I'm not a big fan of this, just because it's easier to say A is negative, and in fact, it's actually makes life a little easier. But actually, in this particular case, I'm going to say both of these are not the best. They're just not as clear, and you're not using your givens. In fact, to me, I want to be able to say, look, you have two cases right here. Here's your first one. Here's your second one. Okay? So, or actually, I guess I should reverse that maybe because of the way I wrote my things. Let's call this the first one and this the second one. So to me, case one is if A is greater than K, and by assumption K is positive, then A is greater than 0. And in fact, if I say equal, because it's greater than or equal to, I'm still okay. It's not equal to, but it's greater than or equal to 0. So remember, the assumption is the top one. I'm assuming that either A is less than negative K or A is K. Those are the assumptions. And so I'm going to take the first assumption, A is greater than K. Obviously, that implies that K is greater than 0. Thus, the absolute value of A is equal to A. And again, by assumption, this is greater than K. So I get what I desired. I wanted the absolute value of A to be greater than K. So I'm done there. So you see how much clearer that is? I'm actually using my assumption. I hope at least you see that it's clear. And then here, the second assumption is if A is the other one, because it's an or statement, so or, right? If A is less than negative K, and of course K is by assumption positive, then A must be less than 0, because if K is positive and negative K is, the opposite of K must be negative, so A must be negative. Thus, the absolute value of A is actually the opposite of A. And recall that we're assuming that A is less than negative K. Thus, the opposite of A is greater than K, but this just means that the absolute value of A is greater than K because of the transitivity property. The opposite of A is actually the absolute value of A, so there you go. It's done as desired. And so here what I wanted to highlight was the fact that most of you didn't use your assumptions. And that's sort of the key of these proofs, right? To be able to use our assumptions and use them in a way. And it's not that you were wrong per se, but if you're not using the assumptions, you should always say, that's not good. Because in proofs, the assumptions are there for a reason. Why do we need them in the first place if we didn't have to say it? So just want to make sure that you guys are clear. Again, I'll put this up. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me after class or during office hours. Have a good weekend.